question. How do DeFi instruments impact financial inclusion and economic development in different regions of the world?
I think we can go through the panelists for the first question first.
Excuse me? I'll do all the panelists.
First
okay. Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Going to the first question, I
Yes.
think one of the big advantages of decentralized finance is what Vitalik Buterin calls credible neutrality, the ability for the ledger itself to be trusted by all participants equally because it's a fair protocol. And I think this, compared to traditional finance, is an opportunity to say you can use credible neutrality even with traditional finance because it can create an immutable ledger that everybody can participate in. But that gets to your second question. The inclusiveness is something that I think is really empowering about DeFi and something that can be used. I live in mainland China, and as a foreigner, it can be difficult in some cases for certain types of payments. But even for my son, he's only 6 years old, and I want to pay him allowance. Kids today in China do not use any physical money. So coins, paper, they look at them like a museum artifact. They want to be able to scan a QR code. But nobody's going to give a kid, a 6-year-old, a bank account or even the fintech services. So I actually pay my son Bitcoin using Lightning. And so I think this is an example where I can teach my son how to save money, how to stack his sats, but using Bitcoin as a way of creating inclusiveness. And if it works for a 6-year-old kid, it probably could work for just about anybody.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, so instead of comparing, I look from a perspective that how does it integrate to TradFi? So I follow up on all of the digital assets events and summits, everything globally. And in the recent years, I saw many TradFi players speaking at these events with titles such as digital assets transformation, crypto, etc. This is a self-explanatory picture showing the shift in the market and the integration happening already between DeFi and TradFi. But what does DeFi bring to TradFi? First of all, I think it brings an opportunity to upgrade and modernize the technology. And right now, legacy systems are being replaced. Secondly, this technology enables higher speed, stronger efficiency, fractionalization, or further transparency. All of these are in customers' benefit. And ultimately, what's happening is there are new alternative products for customers out of this integration.
Thank you, Bugra.
There's another thing, as small points I add on. So there's another advantages of DeFi compared to TradFi is the interoperability. So all the product can build on top of each other and optimize and improve constantly. It's contributed by mass amount of people, but for TradFi, all the financial products are kind of separate and it's privately owned. And if you want to improve, you have to go through several hierarchy. The efficiencies, I would say, greatly reduced. That's another thing that why the system developed so fast in comparison. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Benjamin already gave us an insight, but could the others please elaborate to my second question, how the DeFi instrument impact financial inclusion? Does anybody have another insight?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so apparently there's about 1.7 billion people that are underbanked, right? And sometimes that's because of technology, it's limited access to technology, or they're in rural countrysides and not in any cities. And this is a serious issue, of course, but also because of identity and just not being included in the financial markets for a variety of different reasons. Now, with the kind of advent of the mobile phone, and almost everyone will have a mobile phone. They'll prefer a mobile phone over a TV or any other entertainment device, right? You can get access to the web, and you can get access to blockchains. Now, I think there is another issue, which is, okay, now I have access to blockchains, but maybe I don't have any assets. I think it's going to be really interesting as these blockchain games start to evolve and people start to trade their skill and attention for in-game assets. These in-game NFT assets will be tradable for cryptocurrency, and this can actually have a really interesting flywheel. So I think blockchains enable value creation and opportunities for folks to get involved without having to go to a bank branch necessarily.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it is the unified market global access. So which means for the individual user from globally, they will be easily to access to the different market, and also the market is actually based on the same database and also same technology. For example, the Ethereum and Solana is a similar things. So based on that, actually it's provide the permissionless infrastructure for the global financing service, and which is much better than the traditional. And the traditional actually, the buyer and the seller actually rely on the trust to the intermediary. So the trust actually costs a lot. So when the intermediate cannot satisfy each party, the intermediate the two intermediaries, each other, they need to build up the trust. So which is called the interbank credit line. So credit line also costly. And that's the reason why the blockchain and also DeFi have such more power to growth, even though they facing quite a lot of challenge from the security and from the regulation. But I think it's still has fundamentally it still has a essential power to grow.
Thank you so much.
So I will talk about the impact of different regions of the world of DeFi and how it just helps economic for the people itself. So being crypto, obviously, other than being a global media connecting the Web3 users around the globe and educate people about the industry, one of the region we started to branch out in terms of locals, Latin America, since 6 years ago after we established the English side. So we see a great interest of user from that area really eager to know about the industry, and because of obviously economic situation and how difficult it moves money, the high volatility of the currency of its own country. So basically they're using stable coins doing trades really helps stabilize and predict the economic and business model. So having the system out there for people that is in need, as well as Africa using the payment system, it really improves their quality of life.
Great, thank you.
I see a lot of opportunity that can happen from what DeFi can bring, and I think there's a lot of opportunity around decentralized identity. We can take these permissionless protocols, and you can still implement permission protocols on top. And I think this is the opportunity for TradFi to learn a lot, to say having a credibly neutral layer to be able to build applications can still allow permissioned applications to exist on top of it. So I think as we start to see more forms of digital money, we will then see abilities to mitigate financial crime and fraud by using these permission protocols to be able to ensure safe actors are only using it. I think there's a lot of end-user programmability where we can build these applications that you can't do on private chains, that you need a public chain to be able to solve.
Thank you.
So recently we've been observing certain regions that the customers are adopting DeFi. This is gone, especially for the hedging against the inflation. Apart from that, the unbanked population, I think my colleagues mentioned it very well. So unbanked population can tap into DeFi and access financial instruments. How? Because if you have internet and a device, you can open a wallet and start using it in seconds. And it gives you access to most of the financial instruments, right? And biggest use case, as you mentioned, it's stablecoin. Currently, stablecoin market is heavily dominated by USD, and secondly, it's followed by Euro. And basically, if you are an unbanked person and then you have a DeFi wallet, you access to some of the biggest currencies of the world. And what can you do with that? You can invest, you can trade, you can lend, you can transfer money internationally or domestically, or you can pay for shopping.
Thank you so much. Okay, next question. What role do regulatory bodies play in the realm of decentralized finance compared to traditional banking systems? I hope you can hear me. The mic is a bit. Maybe you want to start?
Happy to jump on in. So the regulatory aspects of DeFi are tricky. Look, traditional finance has been working with regulators, and it actually creates social consensus. To put it in technical terms, we have to agree on what the rules are. And this is helpful. Centralization in the sense of TradFi allows us to ensure that when you make a deposit at the bank, when you come to go get it again, it'll be there. And I think what the regulators can do is provide opportunities for DeFi projects to say, disclose the risks. Most decentralized finance projects do have aspects of centralization. And this is risky behavior that may not be licensed. But at least there could be templates that DeFi projects could disclose to their potential users what the risks are. And I think that would actually go a long way. But I also think there's opportunities for traditional finance to look at what decentralized finance is doing and learn how can we use these new innovations and technologies that are coming from the Web3 space and then can be applied back in traditional banking. I think the sharing of knowledge has to happen between that, and it'll end up creating better products in traditional finance and safer products in decentralized finance.
I can supplement on what Ben said. We are HSBC at the end of the day, right? So the regulation, first of all, for the bank, how we look at DeFi and TradFi integration is that it's same activity, same risk, same regulation principle. So, and how does the regulation affect the DeFi in the world? Definitely, it drives the adoption, wider adoption, as Ben mentioned. So, Hong Kong has been at the forefront of the regulatory developments recently. If we just look at the one last year, what happened? We had government policy papers mentioning tokenization. Government formed Web3 task force for the further development of the industry. We have FSTB and HKMA circulated stablecoin regime. It was 2023 was the most active year for digital assets regulation, for sure. And what else happened? We have VATP, stablecoin, and spot ETF regimes launched last year. And when we look at, I mean, it feels like a long time, but it was just back in January, SEC approved 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. And these 11 includes the large institutions which manage $1 trillion of assets. And this approval definitely improved the market sentiment. When I look at all of these, I clearly see the signs of the maturing market.
Thank you.
So I think that regulated DeFi will be a thing. I think KYC, AML, DeFi on chain, permission pools will happen. Mostly for the reason of peer-to-peer transactions without middlemen. I think this may bring more liquidity to blockchains, public blockchains. Yeah, I think it's going to be a thing. I think regulated DeFi on-chain will be a thing.
Yeah, I have something to add on. Actually, I think the essential reason behind the regulator trying to regulate the market, because they're trying to protect the investor interest and also trying to keep the market fairness and also market transparency. So they are very skillful to regulate the traditional fine, but they are not have the sufficient resource and experience on the TradFi. And actually, it's just my personal advice. Actually, I would expect the regulator can look into the fundamental of the DeFi, because it's a quite different fundamental with the TradFi. They can take more resource to study to regulate or the set up rules to make the smart contract more transparent and more investor protective, and which can reduce a lot risk event happening every day in the DeFi. DeFi. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There is another thing, just a small experience I share. I used to work in Vistra, so that's a financial service company. So for a traditional financial service company, they're heavily focused on source of wealth and not as much source of funds. Obviously, it's a lot easier to prove source of funds other than source of wealth. And when it goes down to source of wealth, it's almost like an endless rabbit hole. You can dig up to generations and generations, and there are still systems that is graded of risk credit of how much that is red and green and how much scores it is. And there is also timelines in terms of documents. So once you submit one, the other one might be already expired, and then you have to submit. So, but in terms of DeFi, all the transactions on are immutable and completely transparent. So this is actually a great opportunity for AML to actually understand how the funds are moving across chain. So if shifting the dynamics and focus from source of wealth and who owns the money, then how the money works, it might actually give very valuable insights and benefits for traditional financial service to improve and create some more for the market.
Completely agree. Okay, what would you say, what challenges do DeFi system face compared to traditional banks in terms of security and consumer protection?
So, blockchains are cryptographically secure networks. So the challenge is securing your key management is a big issue. Also, if you're engaging in a blockchain, signing transactions and engaging applications, which isn't what you think it is, that's a kind of danger as well.
Yeah, I think if we using the traditional finance service, actually they will identify your identity and use the two-phase authentication to protect you. But in the TradFi, the trader or the user need to protect it by themselves to avoid keep it off of the phishing and then the other technology hacking. So that's the key challenge for the traditional players. The DeFi players, how they can avoid of that, and that definitely need the whole industry to provide kind of the infrastructure to do that. And so far we can see some, I can call it the hybrid. CX actually is a hybrid business model, which combine the DeFi and the TradFi together. So in the CX, we also provide the AML and also the two-factor authentication to identify the user and identify the goodwill of the opportunity, the goodwill of the incentive to do that. So which happily to protect the customers' interest on that. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of key differences of TradFi and DeFi, which is the two sides of coin. Is DeFi basically is shifting responsibility from the third party to individuals, right? So you take full control of your own money. You choose which product, which chain to invest. You take care of your passcode. So, but obviously when you use traditional finance, there's third party, there's insurance, there's a lot more developed system that can protect you, that can trace your money back, that can get your money back. DeFi, on the other hand, though, it provides great individualism, but in terms of if you face a loss, the responsibility is more on you. So in terms of protecting the customer, there's less tools available on it. It's also prone to attack because it runs on a technology system in removing human fraudulence. So I feel like it's a very difficult question to answer in one way or the other, because it's literally both things happen at the same time. So what's your opinion, Ben?
I think that centralized institutions have an opportunity to help people move into DeFi in a safer manner. It does take individual responsibility to do your own DeFi. You have to custody private keys, you'd have to look at the actual potential smart contracts you're interacting with, and then potentially also understanding what risks those teams that are making those have these are challenges. And I think centralization can actually help many users that are not yet ready to go full DeFi do so. But I think it's also a great world, and you need to go on that journey. Taking self-custody is part of that journey, and an exciting one, and it has opportunity where you get to learn more, but do so in a risk-averse manner. This is where I'm hopeful that traditional finance can be a trusted advisor, somebody that knows the risks of what cybersecurity is, knows the risks of how to custody assets, and ideally can teach in some sense if you are going to take, just like cash out of an ATM, that has risk, and you probably would not want to be walking around a conference with hundreds of thousands of dollars in your back pocket. Perhaps, arguably, you'd want to put that into a vault. And maybe there are ways that you could even make other products that could provide yield. I think this is going to be the opportunity where DeFi and TradFi can work hand in hand. DeFi providing many audited and well-recognized good protocols, while traditional finance providing decentralized identity and other ways of getting more participants on chain.
Yeah, we are running out of time, but very quickly. So I think above all, the biggest challenge of DeFi is user experience. The jargon, terminology, the experience itself, doing a transaction, etc. Right now we are here in the summit. All of the people are like digital asset savvy, but out there the reality is different. We conduct customer research very frequently, and when we look at the numbers, actually more than 90% of the people in Hong Kong have never invested in digital assets. And the main reason of not doing it is mainly safety and risk concerns, and it is followed by lack of knowledge in the topic. The true understanding of the technology and how it works is missing. So what should we do? The main lesson that we should take from this is avoid using jargon and terminology, make it customer-friendly language. Secondly, improve the experience. Currently, I am hearing from many people who are replacing their DeFi coins with the spot ETFs. I was like, why do you do that? Because it is a familiar experience. It reduces risk of losing your asset. For example, if you make a mistake in DeFi, there is no going back. Yeah, if you lose your wallet, you forgot your password, your asset is locked in on the chain forever. But and also they reduce risk by moving their assets to TradFi. But of course, also I can mention that last June at HSBC in Hong Kong, we opened virtual asset ETFs for our customers. These virtual asset ETFs are linked to cryptocurrency performance. They don't involve any cryptocurrency transactions, and we make our customers aware of the risks and the nature of this asset before they trade. Since we opened last June, we've been observing a great interest and rapid increase in the volumes. So compared to the first month, in terms of volumes, it adds up every passing month 1x in the volumes, and we still see growing interest in these ETFs.
Okay, thank you. Do we have time for the last question?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, maybe one word, everybody. What innovative opportunities arise from the convergence of DeFi and traditional banking? Maybe a super quick answer.
I think it really comes down to custody. So for example, I was speaking to a Bitcoin layer 2. They're going to custody with a financial institution their Bitcoin and then issue it on a blockchain on your behalf to earn yield on that. So I think custody from a traditional finance is a good opportunity.
Yeah, I think the real world asset will be a bridge between the TradFi and the DeFi. And I think not only the traditional finance company trying to build up the business of the real world asset, and also the DeFi company also trying to do that, because only these two worlds being connected, and the synergy can be maximized. So I think everyone trying to find the kind of the golden finger to put in.
Thank you.
Definitely the financial product can combine two of the advantages of TradFi and DeFi and give users more accessibility through the TradFi, but combining the creative, innovative side of DeFi to invest, for sure, they would can educate users to go into digital asset more.
I see this as just opportunity. This is an innovation that came from the open source community and an opportunity for traditional finance to be able to participate in it and help be a trusted advisor on it. So I'm excited by it, by the combination of the two worlds.
Okay, final words, I think, from me. So the customers will decide what will happen. The innovation will result in customers' benefit. Right now we are seeing all of these developments in customers' benefit. There are new products, new benefits for them, and we will see more.
Thank you so much, everyone. Super interesting.
Thank you.
All right, so please remain on stage and let's have a group photo first. All right, let's face to our middle size for our official photographer. Once again, thank